husband smiled, grabbed his keys, and walked out without a word. And I thought it was just another fight. I didn't realize I had just watched him leave for good, until I saw what he left on the table. When Emily walked through the front door that Sunday evening, suitcase in hand, she had that glowing vacation look, wind-tousled hair, sun-kissed skin, and a grin that seemed too bright to be innocent. She threw her arms around me, kissing my cheek like everything was perfect. "God, it feels good to be home," she said, laughing as she set her bags down. I smiled back, a practiced, polite kind of smile, the one you wear when you already know the truth, but are waiting for the liar to dig their own grave. "How was the girls' trip?" I asked. "Oh, amazing," she said too quickly. "We went hiking, wine tasting. Just a bunch of girls' stuff," I nodded. "Sounds fun." Then I leaned against the counter and said softly, "So, did you and Mike have fun too?" Her face froze mid-smile. That second, that flicker of panic behind her eyes, confirmed everything I'd suspected for weeks. She tried to recover. "Mike? Who's Mike?" But the tremor in her voice gave her away. I didn't respond right away. I just watched her crumble. Watched her hands shake as she tried to unzip her suitcase. Like that simple motion could distract me from the guilt radiating off her. "You know," I said slowly. "Mike, the one you called 3 times last night, at 1:11, while your phone's GPS showed you at a beach resort 2 hours away from where your friends were staying." Her lip trembled. You went through my phone?" I smiled again. "No, Emily. You went through my trust." She sank into the chair, eyes wide, breathing uneven. "It's not what you think," she whispered, the classic line. The script every cheater rehearses. "Then tell me what it is," I said calmly, my voice steady, almost too quiet. "Because right now it looks like my wife went on a girls' trip that included one man, and not me." She buried her face in her hands and began to cry. But I'd seen this act before. Tears that appear when lies fail. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done. The truth came out in fragments. How Mike was an old co-worker she'd reconnected with. How curiosity turned into dinner. How dinner turned into a weekend mistake. I listened in silence, each word sinking in like a nail being driven deeper into the coffin of our marriage. When she finally stopped, I asked, "Was it worth it?" She looked up, face streaked with mascara. "No," she whispered. I just nodded. "Good, because it cost you everything." I stood up and walked to the hallway. The bags I had packed days ago were already waiting by the door. She looked shocked, like she hadn't expected me to be the one walking away. "Where are you going?" she asked, her voice breaking. "Somewhere you can't follow," I said simply. "I already signed the papers. They're on the table." Her mouth fell open. "You filed for divorce?" I nodded. "The day after you left." I wanted to see if I was wrong. I wasn't. She lunged forward, grabbing my arm. "It didn't mean anything, I swear. It was just a mistake." Her desperation filled the room, but it was too late. I pulled my arm away. "You don't accidentally betray someone who would have given you the world," I said. "You made a choice. Now you live with it." Her tears grew louder, echoing through the house we once built together. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't slam the door. I just picked up my bags and left her sitting there, surrounded by the ruins of her own choices. In the following weeks, she tried calling, texting, even showing up at my office. I didn't respond. Every message said the same thing. "Please. I'm sorry. But apologies don't erase deceit." I had spent years believing loyalty was automatic. That love was enough. Turns out it's not. It's a decision. And she made hers. When she chose a weekend thrill with a man who disappeared the moment reality hit. Months later, a mutual friend told me Mike had moved out of state. Apparently, he told her he wasn't ready for anything serious. The irony burned. She had thrown away a marriage for someone who never intended to stay. By then, I had moved into a small apartment overlooking the city. It wasn't much, but it was peaceful. No lies. No pretending. Just quiet. One day she sent a long email, pouring out regret and begging for another chance. I read every word, then closed it without replying. At the bottom she had written, "You were right. You were the only one who ever truly loved me." Maybe I was, but love without respect is just punishment, and I'd had enough of that. Now, when I think back to that moment, her walking in smiling after a girls' trip, I realize something. That calm question. Did you and Mike have fun? It wasn't anger, it was closure. I didn't need to yell. I didn't need to prove anything. She had already lost the only thing that mattered, my trust, and when trust dies, so does everything.